apps on my phone in regards to what you're talking about. One will let you know what bills you have due, but what I really like about that app is that it tells you what you're spending on, through your accounts that you might not be aware of. That
Mm.
$3 charge to something you signed up for and you forgot about it, or that 9.99 thing that was
Mhm.
3 months and you had to cancel but you forgot to cancel it. I mean, those little things start to add up, and you can see over time that it's $100 a month, 150 a month if you're really not into tuned with what you're spending. So I love apps, especially hearing you talk about the time that people are spending on them, different times during the day. They're going to be able to catch stuff, but also they're going to be able to be motivated to continue to invest and save and prepare for their future.
We when we priced this app, both apps actually, we have a second one for distribution and retirement called Whoosh. Both of them, we knew that there was a backlash that was happening right now. Exactly what you're talking about: people paying the $2.99, the $3.99, whatever it is per month, and then forgetting about it and feeling kind of upset later on. So we gave them the choice. You can either pay $19.99 one time and be done with it, and it's just yours to play with as much as you want, or you can do it for $2.99 per month and cancel whenever you feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're trying to do is, of course, just earn people's trust so that as we build this community out, they know that we're not going to be gouging them.
Yeah. The other thing that I love about these apps, and I just briefly looked at yours. When I was 18, my grandfather taught me a lesson. He said, invest a little bit of money each month, and you'll see over time it'll grow. So, and this was 1987. He said, just put $50 a month away into a mutual fund, which I did, and my brother did the same. And years down the road, you watch that ball of money grow and grow and grow and grow. And now to fast forward what we've got as far as tools, I've got an app on my phone for my portfolio, and if I've got a little extra money sitting there, it's like, yeah, let's just drop it into that portfolio. It's not doing me any good sitting where it's at currently. And these apps are such great tools to not only have great habits, but to add on top of that extra icing on the cake if you got it.
There's a lot to unpack there. So, first of all, you
Sorry.
said 1987. I'm curious, what month in 1987 did you start?
Well, I graduated at 18 years old in June of 1986. And I was working for my grandfather prior to that. He paid me in cash. So I started about that time. So
Do
June
you
June
do you remember
86.
what happened in October of 1987?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was curious how you reacted to that when it
Well,
happened. I'm sure.
I was too young, but my grandfather taught me about dollar cost average, and he said, "Hey, just keep doing it.
Good.
Just be
Yes.
disciplined and keep doing it." And I really didn't pay attention to the portfolio at that age. It just came out of my paycheck. It was without even thinking. It just kept going in. My mom's retired now, and people think it's too late sometimes. They're in their 50s or 60s. It's like, oh, it's too late to get started. It's not. I convinced my mom to start in her 50s after her divorce, to save for her own retirement, and now she lives off that money. And trust me, it was only, I want to say, $100 a month that she started putting away, and now she lives off that money. It's not a
That's
lot.
a good story. I like
She
that.
she's conservative, but by building this tool and this app out that you guys have done, it's a great resource for people to get started now.
I appreciate that. I do want to add, when we are talking about unpacking what you're talking about, one of the reasons we have the purpose-based portfolios set up, for college and the wedding and retirement. As you know, most people have their IRA or 401k, and then they have their what's called a brokerage or bank money, and that's it. It's just kind of out there. It's an invested, however it's invested, with no real rhyme or reason except for your risk profile. One of the things we're trying to correct, which we believe is a major problem in the business, is the idea that these risk profile questionnaires are worth anything. We know we have to fill them out. It's required by the SEC. The problem is, as humans, our opinion of what the market's going to do, or our reaction to what the market just did, they're so extreme that it's virtually impossible to get an accurate reading as to what anyone's risk profile really is. So by creating purpose-based portfolios like we have been with this app, we can tie the risk management to the actual distribution date and say, okay, well, we know if we're far away, like you were just talking about, from the actual distribution date, you can take on all kinds of risk. And we'll
Mm-hmm.
leave it up to the investor, the advisor to define what that risk is. Is it cryptocurrencies? Is it stocks? Is it private equity? It's really up to you. We don't care. We'll give you suggestions, but it doesn't matter. But we are going to say each and every year, as you get closer to your distribution date, the allocation from risk is going to move more towards income producing activities or assets. And then eventually, of course, very liquid assets like short-term U.S. treasuries or even cash.
Yeah. I live in a society up here in Montana where our Second Amendment rights are pretty big. We talk about it often. I'm also part of a group called the Lion's Den, where we talk a lot about having your home in order. And the reason why I correlate the two is because most people up in Montana think, well, I got enough guns and I got enough ammo. But an important part about having your home in order is having your financial affairs in order, having money in place to survive if you're out of a job, maybe you've been laid off, or you want to make a career change based on what's going on in your area. But having a solid financial portfolio and plan and a reduction of your debts allows you to have that freedom to go and do what you need to do. But most people don't realize that.
It the phrase financial freedom has really seemed to have caught on. Of course, in the HR world, it's financial wellness. But I totally agree with you that if you're truly financially free, you can go do what you want when you want, and you have to be prepared. You have to know where you're safe and where your risk is. And of course, when you go into distribution mode, you have to change everything too, which I said we did do a second app for that exact reason. You cannot just leave the money the way it was invested while you're accumulating and just withdraw a certain percentage per year and think that you're completely risk-free. It does not work that way. So distribution planning is equally important when that time comes. Whoosh is a checklist app, which is 50 things to do before you retire. Basically, we love to clown around. Just do one a week and take your normal 2-week vacation. You're all set.
Well, and I want to encourage people that if you haven't started or if you don't feel like you're financially in a good spot, it's never too late to start. And a lot of people that you think may have it figured out don't. Trust me, I'm a life coach and a business consultant. I've seen it all, and what some people portray publicly isn't what they look like on paper. So don't be discouraged if you're not ahead of the curve in your own mind or what you think your peers are. Everybody's got to start somewhere. It's never too late. Start planning, be prepared, and have some of that freedom that you deserve. Use the tools that are available to you. I mean, I think we've covered some great stuff today that can bring value to people's lives.
I appreciate that, Jim. And just so everyone understands, I know a lot of people say, well, do I do this on my own? Do I do it with an advisor? It's really up to you. We know that 85% of America actually chooses not to work with an advisor. And that's why we have those strategic videos on the app, as well as, of course, the actual podcast to give you all kinds of clues and tips as to how to actually manage risk or where to find opportunities. And if you do want to be introduced to an advisor who's been training this, we can certainly do that too. And there's no charge to that.
Awesome. Jeff, final piece of advice for my listeners as it relates to their financial strength?
You mentioned something at the beginning, which was politics. Try to keep politics out of your decision-making when it comes to investments. It puts you in the wrong mode in terms of analyzing both opportunities and managing risk. Try to follow the fundamentals or the technicals, whichever you prefer. Those are longer conversations for another day. But do analyze the opportunity and try to block out the noise as it relates to news and politics.
Yeah, I love that because, only we know our own strengths, and our future should not be dictated by what we see on the news or what we believe
Absolutely.
to happen. There's over 100 years of great financial history that you can work with, and wonderful people like Jeff. Jeff, how do they get a hold of you? How do they find out more about the app, website, all that good stuff?
So the app is currently available on both the Apple App Store and Google Play, both apps, Whoosh and Dynamic Map. Our website is realintelligence360.com. You can find everything there about us, including all of the articles I've written for major publications, as well as, of course, the podcast episodes. And please do begin subscribing to the Dynamic Map podcast to learn more about this.
Jeff, I appreciate your time, appreciate the value. Thank you for listening to the show. We're constantly talking about bringing resources and tools. This is a great one to get your home in order and have some financial success down the road. So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you for listening to today's show. It is my pleasure and honor to interview all of the guests that have been on the Answer is Yes podcast. If you have enjoyed the show, please go on iTunes and subscribe, give a rating, or simply tell a friend about the show. We also believe in the message of our guests and the positive influence of their stories. As my own mentor and coach, David Meltzer, has taught me, spend some time every day thinking and writing about the things in your own life that you have more than enough of. You will find out how blessed we really are. Please visit my website, livelifedriven.com, for the latest updates about me and what I'm doing. Plus, I post a monthly blog about the many topics on this show. This podcast can also be found there. As I learned early on in life, what you believe is what you will achieve. Thanks, Mark Victor Hansen, and thank you, and have a great week.